Welcome to Partnerships for Profit, the podcast where we bring you inside the world of joint ventures, strategic partnerships, and powerful collaborations. Whether you're looking to expand your network, find new referral partners, or scale your business, you're in the right place. Let's get started.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Partnerships for Profit, a podcast where we discuss business partnerships in the legal space with some of our great guests. Today, we're talking to Colleen Young. She's Chief Marketing Officer at Get Staffed Up, a company dedicated to helping law firms and businesses scale efficiently through strategic offshore staffing solutions. Colleen, thanks so much for joining us. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Peter. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, this is wonderful. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're working on?
Yeah, happy to. So I have, I'd tell you the exact number of years of marketing experience, but I don't want to expose myself to how old I really am. Safe to say I started marketing on stone tablets, and just about every job that I have had within the marketing space has been industrial marketing, right? So anything that had to do with building products, I always say dirt in a bag when I did marketing for Quikrete. All the way to working for a general contractor in the state of Michigan. And then I switched and I went to medical marketing. And from the medical marketing space, I then grew into the legal marketing space. And that is how, around 3 years ago, I started with Get Staffed Up. And my focus at Get Staffed Up is truly building strategic partnerships through our affiliate program that we have at Get Staffed Up. In addition to, the daily grind of how to get higher up in AI search results now with our website and things of that nature, I am really working to build a network of strong partners who can help in the legal space, getting lawyers to grow their firms.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of opportunity for growth and improvement of processes,
For sure.
especially across small and medium-sized firms that want to stake out their claim on their territory and need to be able to both present themselves and execute. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. For a lot of solos, right, and smaller law firms, it is very difficult to, when you start your firm and not having gone to business school, you've gone to law school, and then, you're competing against a lot of big firms, a lot of medium-sized firms, a lot of small firms. I mean, the competition is fierce in the legal space. And I think it can get very overwhelming for a solo and a small practice, 2 years in, 5 years in. And the first thing that comes to mind is, I don't have the budget for this.
Right.
Right.
Plateau. Yeah.
And honestly, with the advent of AI, you do have a budget for that. And as much as I want to sit here and talk your ear off, Peter, about AI, I always say it this way. I'm like, I'm going to go back and do direct mail. I want all the solos and all the small firms to recognize the power of networking.
Right.
And going to conferences and not just sitting in getting your CLE credits and we all sit there and we nod our heads and things like that. But the value of walking up to somebody, shaking their hand and saying, oh, I practice this type of law, or I'm a physician and I network with PI attorneys, mm-hmm. right? And that's really, if ever you want to find, it's a joke, and I shouldn't make this joke because it's terrible, but I'm going to do it anyway, right? Peter right now is going to hit another button and cut me off. If you ever want to find me at a conference, I'm actually at the bar, because business happens and the great connections happen when the guards are let down, right? So, I always encourage people to walk a show floor. There is one person that I network with, and their rule is they walk the show floor 3 times. And they make sure they run out of business cards by that third turn. And really, it's when the guards are let down that people can speak more freely and be like, make the honest connection.
Right.
Because you really, Peter, this, you want to connect with the people that you like and have similar business mindsets, right? It Gets Staffed Up. We always say we don't want to work with, and I won't say the word that we say, but we want to work with people whose primary interest, being a good person, helping and educate the industry. The sales come after that, right? But when you start networking and working with people and connecting with the people of similar interests, of similar goals, right? Also the ones that help elevate you, right? Both as a person and as a business person, right? That's when the success happens.
Yeah, it's that guild of skilled craftsmen where if everybody's doing it right, everybody can do well.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And nobody gives the whole thing a black eye.
Yeah.
And exchanging those ideas. Hey, what are you working on? What's going well and what's not going well? And
That's the
maybe
important
I
one.
have the tools for you and you have the tools
Yes.
for me.
Yes.
Sure.
We find it Get Staffed Up when we do a lot of shows, right? But then I'm on this new kick of, instead of always doing the bigger shows, right? Of having an evening reception dinner and partnering with a few different strategic partners, right? So Get Staffed Up, has virtual assistants who are billing assistants. But if we partner with someone who's a fractional CFO and offers fractional CFO services for law firms, that's a great connection, right? And then we're bringing more to the table for the people, no pun intended, bringing more to the table
dinner,
for the attendees of the dinner, right? Like if you get a strategic partner who offers fractional CFO services, and then you get a strategic partner who offers law firm coaching services, and giving a very well-rounded, then you can sit there and the whole evening just becomes having a few drinks, having some good food, and talking, to your point, what's working, what's not working, where can we better support you? And then you start to see that person on social media, you're tagging them and you're talking to them and you're asking, and it snowballs.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next thing you know, you're having your own conference or your own mastermind. And, so I as much as I'd love to sit here and go, oh, AI this, AI that, it all comes back around, right? That's why I joke about direct mail.
Yeah.
Like, I'm old enough to remember, you used to get those coupon packs in the mail. And don't nod your head. You're too young to remember that.
No.
You used to get them. They were called like Val packs.
They're still around. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, you'd run to your mailbox and be like, oh my God, I needed that coupon for the oil change. Yay. And you'd be all excited about that. And then email came along and it was like, your mailbox is packed. Nobody's, they're not going through all that mail. You're sitting by the trash can. You're just doing this, right? So we all email this, email that. And now it's like, how many of us sit and look at our email inbox and we're like, nope.
Right.
Nope, yes.
Delete 20 at a time and don't even worry about what's in them. Yeah.
Yes. And PS, if you're an attorney doing that, your executive assistant should be doing that. But, you almost want to send a direct mail piece to cut through all the clutter. Because when they're going to the mailbox, it's like, oh, hey, what is it? What is this? So it's the same thing now I'm finding with AI. We're all talking about it, right? We all definitely want to embrace it. And we definitely want to embrace it and use it strategically to the best of our ability.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Unfortunately, no matter what I say to you in this 30 minutes, it's going to be outdated in 35 minutes, right? And we could sit here and talk about, you get a lot of blogs on your website and you will definitely, the educational stuff will come up in the AI search. You'd be surprised how many people are like, wait, I'm using AI as a search engine and that's not the way I should be using it. And, the more people you talk to and you network with, the better well-rounded we're all getting on AI. Mm-hmm. Right? So, we have in a few weeks, well, actually next week, I'm going to Orlando to work with the team at BAMBiz who do elder law and estate planning marketing. AI is going to be a hot topic.
Sure.
But guess what? We're doing a strategic dinner on the evening of March 4th, and there's a couple different partners that are going to be involved. And each one of us is going to sit around for 5 minutes and say, this part of AI is working for us. This is the AI that we're using here in this organization, and why we're using it, and what we're doing to use it strategically, and how can we work together to make sure that when somebody types in, the accounting person for law firms, that a certain person comes up, like how do we all work together to do that? So I think too, when you're going to these conferences, sit down and have conversations like that.
Yeah.
Right?
Get a coffee, get a drink. Yeah, absolutely. Find somebody to get off the floor and have a real one-on-one, intimate, direct, revealing conversation with.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Don't buy me coffee though, because I'm already, my team would tell me.
2 cups in.
Yeah. Oh, 2 like pots, man. 2 pots. Come on. Yeah. Yeah.
That's great. Hey, let's pivot to the staffing side of things, the human side.
Yeah.
What solutions can strategic offshore staffing provide that helps firms scale without blowing the capital and the overhead budget on something that's a growth opportunity, but comes before, not after?
Yeah. So I'm going to take you down a couple different paths, right? Now, we work with attorneys across all disciplines of law throughout the United States. Okay. And my favorite thing is, everybody should have an executive assistant. Like that first hire that you make as a solo, really, I can't stress enough, get an executive assistant. And yes. And that executive assistant is probably going to be like a jack of all trades. Mm-hmm. Right? You're going to have them do multiple things. If you look at offshore staffing, you're going to find that, like, we'll have somebody approach us and an attorney will say to me, Colleen, I don't think I have 40 hours of work. I think, it's closer to like 20. I'm like, here's what you need to do. You make a list of everything that you're doing. And I bet you're going to find that you definitely have 40 hours of work. The second thing is when you find that you have 40 hours of work, think to yourself, do I really want a staffing solution that one person's time could possibly be split between my firm and another firm? Because I'll let you in on a little secret. We have 2 co-founders that get staffed up, okay? And on any given day, you could approach me and say, which one's your favorite? And depending on how I feel, I'll say, oh, well, Brett's my favorite. Oh, no, Enrique's my favorite, right? And I love to play those 2 against one another. It's fun for me, right? But think about that as you are hiring somebody, right, who is offshore. Do you really want their time split between 2 law firms? Because they're always going to have a favorite, for lack of a better term, right? So what we really try to do is educate the solo attorney, the small firms on, listen, if you're going to get an executive assistant, 40 hours a week dedicated to your firm, and they must work on your time zone, right? So listen, that's been a point that attorneys have made to me and some other businesses have made to me. They said, Colleen, we see your point on working on our time zone. But what we really like is if there's a little bit of a time differential, because like they can work on my emails, and then when I come into my morning, it's already all organized and things like that.
Yeah.
And that works great for some people, right? But you can always adjust that. If you're working with the right staffing organization, they can help you with that, right? And help you navigate through that. And the other thing that a good staffing organization will help you navigate is this. And this was so true in the medical space, and I think it's very true in the law space. There are certain practice areas across different parts of the United States that if you are, I'll just say, an immigration attorney in the state of Texas, you definitely need Spanish English, right? It just makes sense. You are never going to get someone who is 40 hours a week dedicated to your practice, bilingual, for the cost of what you are going to get when you're hiring offshore. That the math just works when you're hiring offshore. So if you're already sitting there stressed about how am I going to keep my lights on, right? but I need help. And I know I need help. Offshore is a great economical way to start scaling your business. The first hire is always the hardest, Peter.
Sure.
It's, most attorneys have never been a manager before.
Right. Personnel.
Right. Let alone hire somebody. Like HR is a true
screen and hire.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Right. Like it's a true skill set when you're sitting with an HR professional and they're interviewing you, right? If you had an interview with me, I'm going to sit there and ask you, so are you a Cleveland Browns fan or are you a Pittsburgh Steelers fan? And my bias is going to creep in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to start saying things like Yin's guys, and my Western Pennsylvania is going to start showing, and my interviewee is going to be like, what is she even saying, right? So it is wonderful when you have a small practice and you're just starting out and you're working with a trusted organization who understands the needs of talent in a law firm, and you just take that all off your plate. So now you're getting someone on an hourly basis that is more economical, has really great skills, and it's going to be bilingual, or it's going to be bilingual and professional computer skills that you may or may not have. A lot of our assistants have AI. We're starting to train more and more on AI as best we can when it's all brand new, right?
Sure.
You might have a particular practice management system that you know this much of, but if you get the right virtual assistant and you get the virtual assistant that has ongoing training, they're going to have this much knowledge of your practice management system. So now you've brought in personnel that are economical, and they're helping you build your business using systems that you may not have been able to maximize, and they're helping you do that.
Productivity goes up. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And next thing you know, you're ready to hire your second, right? And depending on what area of law you practice, having a receptionist is going to make a huge difference.
Yeah. Those other layers of screening and customer service and everything else. Yeah.
Absolutely. I tell all my elder law and estate planning attorneys, when you are going after your target market, right? Your primary target market, you are probably dealing with people who are in their 60s, right? And one of the things that we have heard through focus groups and things of that nature, people in their 60s get very frustrated with automated systems and online chats. And when you are looking for an estate planning attorney, if you get a human being on the phone, then you've got that client.
Credibility and market share goes up immediately.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Right. So I think, we're doing a lot of great things with online chats and answering services and things like that, but you can't lose the human touch.
Right.
So you're focused on your networking and you're growing your networking this way, human to human contact. You still need staff who understand your client base. And one of the things I recommend for certain areas of the country, elder law attorneys, we staff from Latin America as well as South Africa. And when it comes to an older client base, when you know your clients really well, right? And you know exactly that they're a little bit older, and with that comes great things like hearing issues. And I say that because I want to go, sometimes. But the South African accent is delightful and memorable, right? So now you have a human answering the phone with a memorable voice that answers with a smile, and that goes miles over a chatbot. So
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Or press 1 for more. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
But there's also the fear of delegation, and a lot of these solo practitioners, they're artisans in their work. They can they can build one watch a month and it's beautiful, and take a limited number of cases per month, and they do it to the nines every time. But that's got a ceiling on it. Delegation can be a growth multiplier when it's done correctly. What do founders and solo practitioners have to do to redesign their roles so that they can scale, to let go of the reins a little bit so they can scale effectively?
I'm taking a deep breath because it is so hard from, and I've said this a couple times too. I usually have always worked for a family-owned business or two partners. And I will tell you, I use this analogy. If I walk up to one of my co-founders that just met, when I was 6 months into this position, and I said, "Can I please have $1,000?" They would have looked at me and said, no, right? But that's what we are asking business owners to do every day, right? And that is a very hard challenge. So I think the first hurdle when it comes to delegation is you have to be willing to give up a little bit of control. Very hard for people who are building a firm and they've put their blood, sweat, and tears in the long nights, right? And they know how good they are practicing law. It is very hard to give up a little bit of control. And I understand that. And it helps when you are an integral part of the hiring process, right? And you have the confidence and you see that the staffer could really, be the person to answer the phone and treat your clients like you want your clients
like you would do. Mm-hmm.
So the first delegation recommendation is be ready to give up a little control, and we can help you with that, right? The second is you have to know the difference between tasking and delegation. And this plays into the control factor. You can tell somebody what to do,
right, but
be prepared, because they're going to say, "Okay, you've told me what to do. I move this from here to here every Wednesday. Don't ask me why I move it.
Right.
Don't ask me to move it any differently. That's what I do." And that's not what you want as a growing law firm. Because the goal of delegation is to be able to step back. And if something, happens, your law firm's running and you're on the beach, right? Or you're drinking whiskey with me in a bar someplace. I don't know. Whatever makes, everybody's dream is it, So I would tell you the second part is learn the difference between delegation and tasking. And the key to that is delegation is letting somebody have a little authority, right? And being able to say, I have the authority that when I move this from here to here, if I have to move it here first, I can.
Right.
Or I have to move it here first, I can. Because I have the authority to make some decisions within the task.
A little bit of agency.
You bet.
Yeah.
That's another key point in delegation. And
to
then
know
there's
why and how something needs to get done.
Right? Yeah. And the feedback loop. Hey, you move this from here to here, and that was great that you anticipated the client's needs. So you sent them this letter of intent before I had to tell you send them the letter of intent, right? So I think that's the third part of delegation, right? The feedback and giving continuous and immediate feedback. Mm-hmm. And that can be hard. It's so funny because when I was talking to an attorney the one day, and we were talking about this very same thing and about feedback and the delegation, and they're like, "Well, it got kind of uncomfortable." And I'm like, "Oh, what was uncomfortable about it?" And they were like, "Well, it was kind of weird telling them what they did wrong." And I'm like, "Uh-huh." And they're like, "Well, it's like, there was like conflict." And I'm like, "Well, what's this?" I'm like, "You're an attorney, for heaven's sakes, you're trained to argue."
Conflict is the job. Yeah.
Yeah. And they're like, "Well, just because I'm an attorney, I'm a patent attorney, I'm not a trial attorney." But you'd be surprised how many people have that anxiety about conflict.
Right.
Right. And there's a way to handle feedback that it doesn't have to be conflict. And it doesn't have to be uncomfortable. Most people will want to know if they've done something wrong versus done something right. and you use it, that, the sandwich approach, right?
Right,
all right, and that's
two goods and constructive, supportive in the middle.
If you do that to especially the right type of personality, like if you did that to me, I'm eating out of the palm of your hand.
Mm-hmm.
Because I love that positive reinforcement. And yeah, nobody's perfect, right? So there's always going to be a little bit of how you can improve. And that's ideal in my world, right? So I think that's the third thing with the delegation, right? You've got to give the immediate feedback, and that is going to build your staffer to a point where you definitely don't need them sitting in a desk down the hall from you, because you can give that feedback. You can delegate from anywhere, right? Right now, Peter, I'm in Michigan. I don't know where you're at, but you could tell me what to do, and that's delegation, and I can do it, right? If you wanted to give me feedback, you don't have to be right next to me to give me that feedback. You're giving me feedback right now, and you're not right next to me. So I think the control, the delegation versus tasking, and then the constant feedback is how you as an attorney can really start embracing offshore staffing and hiring staff.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Colleen. This has been a wonderful conversation, and you made some great points and really shared some wonderful insights. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me.
So you've got a lot coming up, conferences and marketing and getting the word out there. Where can people connect with you and learn more and see you in the upcoming months?
Yeah, absolutely. You can always go to getstaffedup.com. That's where you're going to find all kind of information about our organization, a lot of educational features. There are probably some funny outtake videos of me that you can see. And then you can always email me at colleen.young@getstaffedup for any questions that you have. Anything from, do you think the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to get to the Super Bowl ever again, all the way through? Hey, I'm looking to do some staffing, but I have some questions about how offshore staffers are paid and, what the 13th month is and things like that. Then I will be, next week, I will be at the Elder Law and Planning Summit in Orlando, hosted by Bambiz. And then the week after that, I'm at Climb to Cash with Jaden Doye in Aruba. And then the week after that, ABA Tech Show in Chicago with a bunch of great people. So that's where you can find me.
Sounds great. All right, Colleen, thank you so much.
Yeah,
thank
you.
This has been Partnerships for Profit. I'm the host, Peter Conrad. Partnerships for Profit is by LeDuc Entertainment. We produce podcasts and make great opportunities for guests to come share insights and increase their visibility. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thanks.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of Partnerships for Profit. We hope you've gained valuable insights on how to form profitable partnerships and take your business to the next level. Be sure to subscribe and leave us a review wherever you listen to podcasts so you never miss an episode. Got a partnership story to share or someone you'd like to see featured on the show? Reach out to us. Until next time, keep building those partnerships for profit.